How you guys doing? My name is Tariq Abdulkhalik, once again here with Go for TV. Today we have a very special guest for you. His name is Ishmael Beah. He's an award-winning author of A Long Way Gone and a UNICEF ambassador. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it. You've written 2 books, A Long Way Gone and your new book, Radiance of Tomorrow. Can you just give us a brief background on both of these books and how they relate to each other?
The first one is a memoir, A Long Way Gone, which chronicles my own personal narrative, my life as a child in Sierra Leone before, during, and during the war. I wrote it trying to put a human face to this idea of child soldiers, you know.
Yeah. And how old were you when you were a child soldier?
I was dragged into the war. I started fighting when I was 13, but I was already running from war when I was much younger.
Wow.
The second book, it's a novel, it's fiction, and it is set around things that have happened and a lot of imagination, but really looking at what happens when wars end and people return home.
Yeah, and how that affects
to
them.
live together.
In Radiance of Tomorrow, you talk about how the rich traditions of oral storytelling of your native culture, how has that shaped your identity in storytelling, in your daily life, in whatever way, or maybe you have your own definition of identity?
Well, you know, for me, I consider myself a Sierra Leonean. I'm a Sierra Leonean with some American tendencies because I've lived here long enough to pick up a few things. But I also consider myself a Mende person by tribe, which is my tribe and my language. And even before I ever considered being a writer and knew that I could do that, I already had a sense of narrative through the oral tradition storytelling that was part of my life. I also, when I write, I want to show people the wisdom, intelligence, the vibrancy of my culture and of my people. I'm really writing as a way to take charge of our own literary voice, because for a number of years, particularly in Sierra Leone and generally in a lot of African countries, we've allowed outsiders to come and speak for us and write about how we feel and even talk about how we dream. So for me, what I do in my writing is also trying to take charge of that voice. You know, if we're going to fail or struggle, we should in our own words and in our own ways.
So Radiance of Tomorrow, it's a novel full of hopefulness, right? But it's coming out at a very difficult time for Africa. Despite all this, like, what have you seen in hope, basically, as an artist and a writer?
Well, I mean, as I said, our continent is marred with a lot of violence and struggle and war and things like that. But there is also a lot of hope. There are also people doing remarkable things. And of course, those never get spoken about, you know. I tried to do a program once with some American channels about going and actually following successful young Africans who are entrepreneurs, who are doing businesses, who are lawyers, who are doing, they say, oh, that's not newsworthy. Because they say, right, that's not interesting. Because they don't want to see
They just
that.
want to see the bloodshed.
They want to see the bloodshed and the destruction. And yet that's going on, but people are still coming out of it and doing remarkable things.
Final question for you. Basically, do you have any advice to current students, whether they're writing or whether they are in public affairs and they want to make a change, how they can get involved? Just any general advice you have for current students right now?
Well, what I always say is that, you know, if you want to make a difference in the world, first of all, I think you have to be invested in that difference that you want to make by learning deeply about what it is that you want to make change about, educating yourself.
Step one.
I don't like people who are more like a feel good, do gooders. You know, you sort of donate $10 and you say, well, I donated $10 and therefore I feel good. Well, you should be investing in knowing where is your $10 going to go.
Thank you so much for joining us here today.
You're
we appreciate your time so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you. Welcome to University of Minnesota, and I hope you have a wonderful speech. Well, there you guys have it. Go for TV out. Thank you so much for joining us, Ishmael Beah.
Thank you.